Why? Because we're ramping up the expectation. Of course. What you were asking at the end of your ride, we're now putting in the first 10, 15 minutes. Of course, they're going to say, what? I thought I got to kind of, you know, have a bit of a, you know, park, yeah, the first, you know, long while, have a nice, you know, cozy warm-up, and then just kind of work a little harder at the end. What's this business now of me having to work harder sooner? So she's only being honest. Yeah. But again, you have to be careful how you interpret things. A lot of riders make the mistake of thinking I'm getting worse. No, you're not. That's part of getting better, is that, as I say, when the expectations start going up, sure, people, horses squawk. Yeah. Okay? So the most important thing is to follow through. Just keep pushing. It's to follow through, okay. Right? And we don't know, you may be in warm-up phase your whole ride. Depending, right. Remember that ride you had 3 rides ago or whatever? Yeah. Where she was, you know, just kind of not giving in the entire ride? Yeah. Well, that may be your ride. Yeah. If that's your ride, that's your ride. But the thing you can't do as a rider, it's a grave mistake to say, hey, I want you to work a little harder, get negative feedback from the horse, and then retract and say, oh, actually, I'll give you a bit of a honeymoon. You're just shooting yourself in the foot to get better. Because you're teaching the horse, you'll retract if the horse makes a big enough fuss. Right. It's no different than kids, right? I'm sure if your mom said, hey, you're grounded, you're grounded. You can beg all you want. You can make your mom cookies. You're grounded. Right. Sorry. You know, think about what you did and don't be wrong again. Right. You know, again, you see it with parents, right? Or with anyone. You take back what you say. Wow.
Whole load of trouble.
Eh?
It's a whole load of trouble after that.
It's a whole load of trouble. Yeah. And it's not the kid or the horse's fault that, you know, there's no conviction behind the adult or the rider. A lot of horses don't have character problems, they have conditioning problems. There's a very big difference. Character means I don't want to because because I don't want to. Conditioning is I don't want to because I'm not made to. Right. You know the difference, right? Mm-hmm. We're all conditioned all the time. Mm-hmm. No matter what, you know, by our bosses, by our neighbors, by our friends. We all are conditioned, and that's why we have to have law and order in our society. Otherwise, I don't know about you, but I'd be robbing a bank so I could buy a really nice horse. But, you know, I know there's a really strong consequence for that. So, no, but you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Right? I mean, it would be Lord of the Flies. So, you know, same thing. You have to develop a law and order system with your horse. It's the same thing. This is what I expect. This is our new norm, and that's when you've had a history with a horse. Sometimes it's a little harder, just like a person-to-person relationship. It's a little harder to start and turn a corner after it's had a historic sort of status quo. Right? It's easier to maybe, you know, for me to jump on her and teach her new things than you to teach her new things. Because she says, what? For the last 5 years, Claire, you've been doing it this way. Right. You know, what Kool-Aid are you drinking now? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's okay. That's real life. But you see what I'm saying? Yeah. You have a relationship. Now your relationship's changing. And part of her complaining is, what? Where, you know, what can I rely on now then? What's predictable for me? Right. Right? Makes sense. Does. Yeah, of course. But in order to put credence behind what you are trying to achieve, the only way you can build up her confidence, strangely, is if you stick to your guns. Okay. if you stick to your guns, then somewhere along the line she's going to say, well, Claire's never sold me out, so whatever Claire's asking me to do, I guess I should do, because she seems to be really serious about it, and she's relentlessly asking this of me, so I'm going to go ahead and do it, because she feels safe. You create safety when you create consistency.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard. So when you've got a horse flipping your head or having a bit of a fit, you know, it's hard to work yourself out of those situations sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when people retract. Of course, you understand it, you know, but it's you can't come to the horse the next day and have a little webinar and say, hey, sorry about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is what went on and why, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So the best way to ride is to always follow through. Okay?
Makes sense.
Alrighty. And that's much easier said than done. And the better you get, the more experience you get, the more knowledge you get, the more tools you have to be able to work through the hiccups. But we all have them. So it's not the end of the world if you know, don't happen to see eye to eye one day. It's not the end of the world. But you don't want that to become a weekly and monthly pattern.
Right.
Right? Then you're in trouble, because the horse will get very smart to your inconsistencies, and that's when the horses will learn to intimidate.
Yeah.
No different than a person. That's when bullying happens. You know, maybe those people never had a really firm fist saying the answer is no, and will be no Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. So stop asking.
Right.
Right? Somewhere along the line, maybe some way they found a way to break down those barriers, and then they try it with everyone. And that's a bad thing. Okay, let's shorten those reins right